Is it possible to create presently a new fundamental science? At the beginning of our research work, it wasn't our intention. We focused on our investigations only. A lot of surprising phenomena and unique results were detected by us. Then we arrived at a conclusion and created a new science, cardiometry. Every science is based on its own laws, axiomatic systems, and sets of logical rules. But is this the case with classical cardiology? It shows many contradictions and inconsistencies. It cannot offer laws or regularities because it's an evidence-based science. And the most significant paradox in cardiology is that the cardiac cycle structure has not received the most study. Only 5 of 10 cardiac cycle phases are rather poorly interpreted by the existing cardiology. Classical cardiology is not capable of adequately identifying boundaries of each phase in a cardiac cycle. The theory of the conventional cardiology operates exclusively with segments and intervals according to ECG. The concept of the laminar flow mode, generally accepted by the classical cardiology, cannot provide an adequate mathematical model of hemodynamics because the laminar flow regime requires considerably higher energy consumption than actually available in the cardiovascular system. And what is the framework of the new fundamental science, cardiometry? The core of cardiometry is comprised of 6 laws. They form the axiomatic system of this science. Law 1 offers a new adequate mathematical model of hemodynamics. Elegant equations by Pojedintsev-Voronova make it possible both to properly interpret the mechanism of the heart performance and to calculate phase-related volumes of blood in each cardiac cycle, which are the most informative parameters in hemodynamics. Gustav Pojedintsev and Olga Voronova pioneered in formulation of the mathematical equations describing the so-called elevated fluidity of blood circulation. The equations contain durations of all phases in a cardiac cycle. It is precisely the phase structure of the cardiac cycle that is responsible for the formation and maintenance of the elevated fluidity of blood. The elevated fluidity regime is generated by the initial stage of the aortic valve opening. The regime features the specific layer pattern in blood to reduce particle resistance in the flow. If the conditions of the flow are not maintained, it will be transformed into the laminar and subsequently turbulent one. It is the expansion of the aorta that provides the proper maintenance of the said regime. An ECG is the most perfect looking glass, reflecting the individual phase pattern in every cardiac cycle. According to the cardiometric analysis of an ECG curve, it is possible to detect any changes in the heart performance for diagnostic purposes. To verify diagnosis based on an ECG, cardiometry applies its own original axiomatics. The following slides present the other laws in cardiometry. The 4 laws treat the operation of the SA and AV nodes as baroreceptors. The new interpretation of their function is that it is precisely these baroreceptors which govern the operation of the cardiac cycle phase mechanism. Every cardiometric law has its consequences that are applicable in practice. Law 6 establishes relationships between phase-related amplitudes on ECG and actual amplitudes of the heart muscle contractions. Clearly identified boundaries in each phase provide for introducing some new symbols for newly defined ECG points. For example, it is point L to denote the beginning of the rapid ejection phase. The proper cardiometric interpretation allows finding the exact location of point J, that is at the end of the rapid ejection phase. Issues connected with the location of these points on ECG have been discussed in detail in 2 doctoral dissertations in Russia. In fact, a new theory of the cardiac cycle phase analysis has been created by us. The theory is utilized as a logical tool for diagnosis verification. It is known that verification is considered as number 1 problem in medicine. But we succeeded in applying the verification methodology of natural sciences to cardiology. In addition, it provides a new classification for all the variety of ECG curve shapes. We also pioneered in creation of a periodic table of ECG phase changes, similar to that of chemical elements. Now, on the cardiomic base, we are capable of modeling, simulating and predicting any diagnostic case. The laws allow to classify all the variety of ECG curve shapes by 10 functional markers of curve changes from their normal case up to and including abnormalities or pathologies according to 4 levels. The mathematical tools of hemodynamics give a good idea of revising the existing ECG recording methods and developing an original single-lid system to record an ECG of the ascending aorta. The ascending aorta signals are most informative. We pioneered in recording a rheogram in synchronism with obtaining an ECG. Phase synchronization of the ECG and rheo curves supplies us with a new source of data on all phase-related changes in arterial pressure. In addition, we developed a classification of rheograms of the ascending aorta similar to that of ECG curves. Based on the cardiac cycle phase analysis concept, an innovative diagnostic device, Cardiocode, has been developed by us. Cardiocode delivers non-invasively data on 7 phase-related volumes of blood in every cardiac cycle. That was absolutely inconceivable in the past. The use of the Cardiocode device and technology makes it possible to control and even reduce in-hospital mortality rate by 40%. The unique diagnostic capabilities of this device can cut the potential mortality rate even by 2 times. We are the first who have identified markers of the complete depletion of the heart performance resources with the Cardiocode technology. Using this methodology, we can predict in most accurate ways the outcome of intensive care unit patients and control in-hospital lethality. Cardiocode is capable of immediately detecting markers of the more severe pathologies, like sudden cardiac death and abnormalities of coronary flow. Among other things, endocarditis is easily diagnosed with Cardiocode. It is widely met in practice that a patient seeking for and not finding help in extremely expensive and sophisticated diagnostics requires only half an hour to get the most accurate diagnosis according to the Cardiocode technology. The Cardiocode device and technology open new ways in therapy. Innovative, effective, systemic and specific treatment patterns, considering metabolism in the organism, are elaborated by us. It is the result of many years' research in the field, and our patient always receives a good chance to restore their health. Cardiometry is a fast-growing science. The phase analysis of the cardiac cycle makes it possible to extract biochemistry data on the heart performance from an ECG only. Actually, we can access acid-alkaline balance of the heart in every cardiac cycle. It's a fresh approach of a very high informative value in cardiology, and its importance is difficult to overestimate. Another area of application of the cardiac cycle phase analysis was detected by us by lucky chance. It is in psychoanalysis. Our research and development team succeeded in developing a new method of lie detection, showing reliability and efficiency far greater than that of the conventional polygraph types. In general, we can say that the cardiac cycle phase analysis is a powerful tool in research. The vast volumes of data obtained by us in research require their systemization and publication. This has given impetus to the establishing a new journal. It's our open access e-journal, Cardiometry. The Cardiometry's editorial board consists of a number of prominent scientists from both Russia and abroad. The Cardiometry journal has interested members of the public from 82 countries around the world. The journal offers regular webinars held by our training center to report more on this innovative science. The webinars are very popular, and their hot topics are devoted to education and practical training of medical staff to apply to phase analysis principles in practice. We accumulated a good practical experiences in the field. We developed modern methodology for screening of school-age children and students. Our technology supplies us with useful data showing some regional features of population. Another promising application area is athlete conditioning in sports. Among world champions, you can find sportsmen who successfully used our unique technology. Cardiometry is making good progress by gathering force in theory and practice. Everyone who's taken interest in acquiring this innovative knowledge can join our team. One of the next achievable goals might be creation of a new technology for home diagnosis of the sort similar to blood pressure meters used by users at home. Another goal of great importance would be an effective mass screening for prevention of cardiac diseases and improvement of cardiovascular health. I have presented only a fraction of results of our sophisticated studies. In summary, I would like to stress that the method of the phase analysis can be very easily applied. It is really very simple to make diagnosis and predict the performance of the cardiovascular system. It's really interesting to report on cardiometry as a new science, but it would be much more interesting for us if we could combine our efforts with yours to make further progress in this new science. Thank you very much for your kind attention.